do you want to do a little bit of flying at all?
Oh God.
You don't have to say yes.
I don't. Okay, I will hold the handle.
What's happening, everybody? My name is Matt Mosveen, and you are on air with Radio Chatter. Today, I am joined by somebody very funny on the flight deck today. Who are you?
I'm Darcy Michael, and I'm fucking terrified to be here.
For those who aren't familiar, what do you do, Darcy?
I'm a stand-up comedian and mostly lately an idiot on the internet. You probably know me from TikTok or stand-up or acting.
Just for laughs.
Just for laughs, Crave TV, yeah.
Darcy and Jer, all the good stuff. And remind me, you've been in a small plane before. What's the vibe today? How are we feeling?
The vibe is hanging on for dear life. I've been in small planes. It's been a long time. I'm not the biggest fan, but like when you asked me, I was like, I'm not gonna say no to an adventure. I've questioned that decision several times since we've taken off, but I'm here.
Well, you can't leave now, so
there's
there's not really anything else.
My dad went skydiving for his 70th birthday and really wanted me to go, and I was so close to going, and I just knew I wouldn't be able to do it. And now that I'm in here, I'm like, yeah, there's no fucking way.
Well, we're going to put you to the test in just a moment, but I appreciate you coming up to 7,500. I think we picked an okay day. We do have a little bit of cloud around here, but we're circling on the outskirts of Mount Baker. We're near Bellingham, Washington. So pretty beautiful evening with some clouds, and let's get this thing started. Let's talk a little comedy for a bit. So describe, how would you describe your sense of humor? Like, I certainly have my own thoughts, but how would you describe it? Someone who's never seen it before.
I always like to say it's funny.
It's probably a good start.
I'm pretty autobiographical. Like, I definitely talk about my life, but it's a weird thing I always say talking about comedy is like dancing about architecture. There's not, it depends. My definition of blue collar is completely different from someone else's definition. So yeah. I definitely try to bring a lot of truth to my comedy, and I try not to punch down. That's the big one for me. Like, not to make fun of people. Necessarily, or their beliefs or whatever. I try not to make it I don't like negative comedy. I just want people to feel good.
You might not have had the dopest experience of high school, and I'm curious, at what point did you? Because everyone's like, what are you gonna be when you grow up and stuff. Like, at what point were you like, shit, I'm gonna be a comedian?
Oh God, definitely not in high school. I was always funny, but I thought I was gonna be an actor for sure.
Right.
That I definitely knew that part, or some sort of performer.
That's super interesting. And was there a musical theater, or
we had a really amazing theater department. Oh my God, this view. It's terrifying.
But beautiful. There's some beauty to it.
For sure. I'm just going to lean away from the turns every time. We had an amazing drama teacher, Mr. Burrett, who was just kind of like a lifeline for me. And he had this amazing theater program that was a really safe space in the 90s for people to go. I would have lunch there every day with our little group of friends, and we would go to New York over the holidays, every Christmas, and he would take us to see Broadway shows and really abstract theater. We saw Blue Man Group when they were still
oh my God,
in a basement in Brooklyn. It was 10 seats, and We saw the original cast of Rent on Broadway. Like, it was really cool shit. But it just kind of further solidified like this want and need to perform.
When was there ever a time that you felt like, or did you have a real job or any, like, have you just been entertaining the entire time?
No, I worked at banks. When I was in my early 20s, I was a bank teller, and then I worked at a call center for banks. And
crazy.
I was a nightmare employee. I was constantly getting written up for joking too much or saying something inappropriate to a customer, or just being like, I don't like people that bullshit or that think they're better than others. And so being in customer service, I quickly realized it was like, oh, this is not for me.
If you had to pick like a corporate job that like any corporate job, like what is there anything that would be like fun at this point?
Yeah, I think the closest I could do is like marketing or copywriting, because at least there's some sort of creativity. Either that or go full on like just accounting, because numbers can, like there's. I'm yawning only because of how high up we are. Sorry. There's nothing in like numbers are black and white, and I'm like, that kind of shit I can handle. Like, I actually love doing our accounting as much as my accountant hates it.
Really?
Yeah, I always send my own spreadsheets, and then they'll be like, "This is great, but can you just send us the receipts?" I'm like, "But I like doing this." Like,
you're like their dream customer,
right?
Like they don't have to do like any
no,
work
because
for
then
you.
they can't bill me as much. So then they're like, "No, we're gonna need copies of everything."
Pop quiz with my stoner husband. Love that. I have a bit of a pop quiz for you, but I had to rename it because it's not a pop quiz and you're not my husband. So I was gonna call it Life Hacks with my stoner co-pilot.
Oh, there you go.
But you're not really like smoking and flying is illegal, and you're not really my co-pilot. So I settled on Life Hacks with one of Yuma's dads.
Oh, there you go.
And by the way, just audience, just in case, so Yuma is Darcy and Jeremy's amazing dog. 3 years old, right?
Yeah, she's a celebrity in her own right. She gets recognized just as much.
Like tell us about some cooking hacks.
Oh shit. Well, I'm celiac, so I have to do like everything I cook is kind of a hack. I am all for the air fryer, and I know it's like everyone's talking about it, but fuck me, we don't cook anything else anymore. Open face bacon and egg sandwich in 6 minutes. Are you kidding? You just put a piece of gluten-free bread, wrap the bacon in a circle, crack an egg in the middle, air fry that shit. I'm all about like convenient cooking these days. We actually almost brought it on our road trip with us. We were going to use it. We brought a barbecue instead, and we never used it.
TikTok hacks. Give me some TikTok hacks.
TikTok hacks is like, there can't be any delay off the top of your video. Like if you're taking a breath in before speaking,
you're getting skipped.
It's gonna get skipped. The first 3 seconds is essential.
Yeah,
it's crazy how like I know a video will catch just by the edit. Like when we're posting it, I'm like, this is gonna be massive. It's gonna get 20 million. And I'm rarely wrong about those ones.
Fashion hacks.
Oh God, there's no such thing as gender for clothes. Like if you see something in a store and you're like, I like that sweater, and it's in the women's section, who gives a fuck? If it fits you, put it on.
Go get it.
Gender doesn't have, or clothing doesn't have a gender. I don't. I am. My wardrobe is from all sides of the aisle. I can give a shit. I'm like, if it's comfy and it looks good, I'm wearing it.
How to be funny hacks.
Oh God, there's no hack for that. You either have it or you don't. That's the
cold hard reality, right?
It is. If you don't have that bone, that rhythm, it can't be taught. I've watched people try to teach it, and it's just like it can't be done.
I think you would know way more than I would about this, but anytime like I watch somebody like trying to be funny and they're not, or when I try to be funny and I'm not, it's always just like you're trying to sell the wrong thing to the wrong audience. Like
for sure.
to 5% of people, you might not think they'll find you funny. So if you find the right audience, I wonder if that's like a hack to being funny.
For sure. And I think like a good comedian can make any room of people laugh. And I think that is, that's definitely like the challenge. And that's what I loved about when I was touring, was going to these small towns and audiences not necessarily knowing who I was, and being able to win them over was a super fun time. But I've definitely seen some horrible comedy over the years that you're just like, I know you're a fan of comedy, and unfortunately that's where your relationship with comedy needs to stay. And that's being a fan.
Dog hacks. Anything like no one knows that they should know about dogs.
Yeah, everyone needs a meat purse. Jared and I have like a treat bag that is like a meat purse, we call it, because it's just full of her beef liver. Yuma won't work for free. She won't do anything for free. So we always have to have the meat purse with us. But it was the best thing in the world, like positive reinforcement training, as opposed to like the old 80s style of like telling a dog to do something, and when he doesn't, you just yell at it. So like people don't realize when you get a puppy, like if you're gonna vacuum, you don't just pull the vacuum out and start vacuuming. That dog is gonna be afraid of it for the rest of its life. So for like when Yuma was a puppy, to get her used to everything new, we'd leave the vacuum out beside her bed for like 4 or 5 days, and then we'd turn it on for a little bit so she'd get used to it. Like everything's got to be baby steps with dogs because everything is so new.
Interacting with strangers hacks.
Yeah, don't do it.
Just don't.
Fuck that.
Last but not least, parenting hacks.
Yeah, condoms. Yeah.
That's straight to the point.
Avoid it at all costs. No,
you could say that now, like with the perspective going back 10 years or whatever, right? Or 20 years
for
now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Be prepared for your kid to hate you solidly through their teen years, and know that they'll end up being like the coolest people as adults. Like, there's definitely a few years where I'm sure Grace just wished ill upon both of us all the time, but we're like, don't worry, trust me, it'll be better.
I thought this would be a good opportunity to always ask a question that I've always wanted to ask a comedian before that I've never had the chance to. So, first off, is it a comedian or a comic?
Either or. It's either or. Yeah.
Doesn't really matter.
Comedian, same thing.
Okay, so the stories that you tell, are they all real, or do you twist a variable a little bit, or what's the?
No, I try to tell stories that are real. With comedic flair, but if you watch my stand-up special, everything I talk about is 100% has happened and happened in pretty much the fashion. I think when it comes to telling good stories, it's not the need to necessarily lie or embellish. It's just the challenge is telling a story interestingly enough that it's also funny. But yeah, no, everything I talk about is real. The thing that people won't get is when a comedian starts a joke being like, so yesterday I was going to do this thing. Yesterday was probably a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that leads to a really important one, which is people's names. I always wonder about that. You talk about your friends or your family or something, do you change their names?
Sometimes, yeah. I've learned the hard way. Some get real mad when you don't. I won't talk about someone now. I was maybe a little less sensitive to other people earlier. Sorry, I was probably a little less sensitive to other people earlier in my career because I didn't have to really worry about a lot of people seeing it. It would just be a few hundred people in an audience. And then, as things started to grow, I was like, oh, shit. Okay, this is going to be seen for years to come and stuff. So I don't, if I'm doing anything that involves other people, especially now since TikTok, like I won't post something that has, video of a friend of mine without them being okay with it. And we just try to avoid that in general. Okay.
Heckling, like, is that? Do you enjoy?
No.
Because some comedians, they will like turn it around and like counter heckle, and it's like really funny. But
it can be, but it's also not what the art form is. Like it's not improv. Like we've written these jokes, we've crafted every word, every breath that we're taking is thought of, like every hand gesture.
Yeah.
And then to have a heckler, it sucks the energy from the room. Like a good comedian's a conductor, and the audience is the band. So I can't stand it. And
that's a pretty good one. The conductor.
Yeah,
I love that.
Well, it is because like I'm gonna make you guys laugh harder at times, and then chuckle, and then think about things. But yeah, no, you're leading the audience on a journey, and heckling is just like I've definitely been heckled, but people know better as well because I'll just fucking destroy them.
Let's talk creative process for a minute here. So I thought about it, and I realized like there's actually, I would think there's a lot of similarity from writing bits to like being a musician. So like, do you carry around a pen and paper, or when you were doing more stand-up, like how did that work?
Like I still write jokes every day, but it thankfully when the iPhone came along, it just made it so much easier. Like I probably have 10,000 notes on my phone. Plus voice memos. Everything I write is I speak it to write it. So I record a lot of voice memos and stuff because my brain works faster because of having ADHD. My hands can't keep up with my thoughts. So I've always dictated. Even before my iPhone, I would have like a dictator that I would record my thoughts on and stuff. And that's how I've always done it.
Do you have any dry spells where your brain just like will not produce a new fun idea?
Oh, for sure. And it's usually summer. I usually take summer off creatively. And I think it's just because it's when, like I'm getting enough vitamin D. I'm busy with the garden. We're traveling and stuff. And it took me a long time to learn that rhythm that I just need to take a couple months off every year from. Like, I won't write anything until the fall, probably.
Wow. Are there any spots, like, I find, like, really good ideas in the shower? Like, Are there any spots that, like,
the shower is
more
the main,
creative?
The shower is the main spot, because there's no distraction, so you can just, like, let your brain wander.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll do most of my writing in the shower or driving.
Driving.
Yeah, like,
I love it.
Anytime,
on the highway, particularly.
Yeah. Anytime you're just kind of like zoning out.
Exactly. Time for a little game called Did You Dabble With It?
Okay.
So I've got some subjects, topics, pastimes. Some of them have some truth to them. Some of them are a complete shot in the dark. So they're all rapid fire. I'll say the subject, and then you tell us if you did indeed dabble with it. Let's get started. 100 gex.
100 what?
100 gex.
Gex.
It's an artist.
Oh, no.
On Spotify.
Oh, no idea.
I think it's like a pair or something like that. Pioneer DJ equipment.
Pioneer DJ equipment?
Yeah.
No.
Plumber's tape.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. I got rolls of it. I do all my own plumbing.
That was a shot in the dark, and that's incredible. Rescuing plants from the plant shelter.
I fucking invented that.
Bidets.
Yeah, all about it. Everyone needs a bidet.
Do you have just one, or do
we have one in every toilet? And now my families have them all because I was like, I'm not coming to your house unless you get a bidet. Sure. So I just bought them all. Everyone should have a bidet. There's something so magical about walking around knowing you have the cleanest asshole It's great. It's insane we don't. If I took a shit on your kitchen counter, you would not take paper towel and just wipe it to clean it up.
You would do more. Oh, you would do way more.
Everyone should have a
Some
bidet.
Lysol.
It's so dumb that North Americans haven't embraced it more.
Japan, Europe, it's like everywhere. Maracas.
No.
Canadian Tire money.
Yeah.
The Dodge Ram 1500.
Dodge Ram 1500.
Installing new locks on the canopy window of a Dodge
Yeah.
Ram 1500.
Done it. Learned it. Thanks, YouTube.
Mushroom coffee.
Yeah.
Shoulder length curly hair.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I rocked that for a while.
How long ago was that?
Oh, God. 15 years ago?
Meditation apps.
Yeah.
Which ones do you do?
The sleep one. I can't remember what it's called. I got it because Harry Styles did a story time on it. And then I just kind of kept it.
Dyson stick vacuums.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
I complained about them on my podcast, and it turned out the VP of marketing for Dyson listened to the podcast and reached out and was horrified and sent us a whole bunch of products.
Wow. That's kind of a huge hack.
Yeah,
I like that.
that was a big one. I was like, oh shit, okay.
Reusable straws.
No, I hate them. I don't use straws in general.
Consulting Reddit to solve problems.
Who doesn't?
Being an empath.
Oh, yeah, probably. Jer would say so.
The Gulf Islands in BC.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Red Light District in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to pronounce this. Memojis? Memojis?
Memojis. Yeah. Oh, I'm all about them. I still send Jer texts in them. They're pretty popular on our TikTok.
Last but not least, starting a stand-up showcase in downtown Vancouver wearing shoes, but finishing it bare feet.
How'd you get that story?
There's a story to it. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Oh, wow. That's weird. That's not on the internet, is it? Did someone tell it to you? I worked really hard.
We may have talked to a couple of people.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's crazy. Yeah. I was hosting a show at the Comedy Mix in Vancouver, and I went out in between my sets for a smoke back when I smoked cigarettes. And there was a guy like my age, homeless or unhoused, who didn't have shoes on, and it was pissing rain. And I was just like, what size are your feet? He was like 11 and a half. And I was like, I'm 11 and a half. I live a pretty privileged life. So I just, like, I didn't even think about it. I just gave him my shoes because I was like, my car's in the underground parking lot. I'm walking inside. Like, I can get home without wet feet.
Right.
And so I just did it. And then I guess what happened was someone saw it, they filmed it, and then they wanted to, like, put it out. And I worked really hard to not let that happen because I don't know who this person is that I gave the shoes to, and that's not I don't want his image out there because that's not for us to do. And so not many people know that story other than the audience that night because I went back out and I didn't have shoes on.
And a heckler noticed.
A heckler noticed. They did. They were like, what the fuck? Where are your shoes? And so I, like, told an abbreviated version of that, but yeah, weird. Oh wow, you threw me off there. That's good. Good work.
All right, guys, so it's the moment that we've all been waiting for. Darcy, we've got 2 control columns on here for a reason, so mine's connected to yours and I'm always here to help. Do you want to do a little bit of flying at all?
Oh God,
you don't have to say yes.
I don't. Okay, I will hold the handle.
I'll coach you through it. So we'll hold the handle for just a second. Now just look straight out.
Yeah.
And you can sort of like make up what the horizon might be.
Yeah.
It's like straight line through there. So your job is basically to hold the top of the instrument panel in line with the horizon. Okay. So You can pull up a little bit. Just go like, yeah, even more. We're actually descending right now. So pull up.
Oh god.
Yeah, I'm helping you out. Don't worry.
All
Yeah.
right.
How's that? So you're climbing right now, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna go back to 7,500. That was my bad. I let us go down a little bit. How does that feel?
I hate it.
It's just like driving a car, right? It's like
no, it is. It's just a car that
So let's check to the left. Do you see any other airplanes that way?
No.
Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start just a real gentle. Remember those ailerons that go like up and down? Real gentle turn to the left. So you look for traffic, no traffic. Let's start a turn. And I'll help us out on it. How's that feeling?
It's terrifying.
You're killing it, man. 10 more seconds when we make the turn. We'll roll it out.
What do you mean roll it out?
So like,
oh no, you got to take it over. You got to do it.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, I can't do that.
How about I show you what I mean by rolling it out?
If you roll this fucking plane, so help me God.
No, not
Okay.
going upside down. No, rolling out of the turn, just like going.
Oh, okay. I was like,
leveling.
I would fucking lose my shit.
You know what? I'm pretty proud of you for doing that. Like I think you did an amazing job, like doing a really coordinated turn. That's it. We're getting close to our final destination. The seatbelt sign has been turned on for landing. Darcy will turn over the spotlight to you one more time to take us home. Tell the world anything you want to tell them and let them know how to find you.
I would like them to know that I want to be on the ground. And when I'm on the ground, they can find me at the Darcy Michael. Is this turbulence? Is that what we have right now?
It's a little patch. Yeah. It's like very light turbulence, though, and it's super safe. Don't worry.
Okay. You can find me at the Darcy Michael on everything and Darcy Michael Comedy on YouTube.
Thanks for coming up, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's get you back to Ladner.
Let's go home. Get me the fuck home.
See you later, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. You know exactly what to do. Fasten your seatbelts and subscribe for more.